Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a story of absolutely massive ambition. It all kicks off with a fateful meeting back in 1908, a meeting that literally changed publishing history forever. We're going to unpack the origin and the core foundational principle behind what is arguably one of the most influential frameworks for success ever created.
So, picture this. A young journalist named Napoleon Hill sits down with the legendary steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, who was, the richest man in the world at the time. What was fully expected to be just a standard afternoon chat, maybe a 3-hour interview, suddenly turned into an intensive 3-day masterclass.
And at the end of those 3 days, Carnegie handed Hill an assignment. But this wasn't your ordinary job offer. It was an unpaid assignment that would take an astounding 20 years to complete. I mean, imagine someone handing you a massive project today with zero salary attached, telling you it'll take 2 decades of your life to finish, and the whole point is just to find and extract the common formula for success. Crazy, right? Well, Hill said yes. Over those 2 decades, Hill didn't just sit around in a library theorizing. He actually went out and interviewed more than 500 of history's most successful people to extract their specific secrets. We are talking about absolute titans of industry and innovation here, guys like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, and Alexander Graham Bell. And man, the payoff for that unpaid 20-year grind was astronomical. After compiling all those interviews, Hill published his findings. The result? Think and Grow Rich, a book that has sold over 100 million copies. It still remains, to this day, one of the best-selling self-help books ever written.
Now, the crucial concept we're tackling today is Hill's very first foundational principle: desire. But listen, he isn't talking about the ordinary kind of desire you or I might just casually mention. According to Hill, it's a decision so total, so absolute, that failure is literally no longer an option you even allow yourself to consider.
He draws a hard, undeniable line here. On one side, we have a wish, which he defines as just passive daydreaming. On the flip side, we have a burning desire, which completely removes the option of failure. It is total, 100% commitment. Everything else in his entire book is built right on top of this one foundation.
The Tramp and the Inventor, Edwin C. Barnes in 1905.
Let's see how this burning desire actually looks in practice. Barnes had absolutely zero in his favor when he started. No money, no education, and no connections. Nothing. But he walked right into Thomas Edison's laboratory, and he didn't do what everyone else did. He didn't ask for a job. He boldly stated that he had come to become Edison's business partner.
Now, Edison later admitted that Barnes looked like an ordinary tramp off the street, but there was something about the sheer intensity and determination in his face that made an undeniable impact. His ambition was so palpable that Edison hired him anyway, even though it was just for a very menial, bottom-rung position.
So for months, nothing really happened. Barnes was just sweeping floors and running errands around the lab, but he kept this exact mantra on repeat in his mind. I came here to go into business with Edison, and I will accomplish this if it takes the rest of my life. He never let go of that goal, no matter how unglamorous his day-to-day reality was. Then, out of nowhere, an opportunity popped up. Edison's team developed a brand new invention, an early dictation machine called the Ediphone. But there was a major catch. Edison's own salesmen completely doubted the thing. They looked at their boss's machine and flat out didn't think it would sell.
Well, Barnes saw his opening immediately. He went straight to Edison and convinced him to let him try to sell it. And he didn't just sell the machine. He was so wildly successful that he secured an exclusive national distribution contract. That one bold move sparked a highly successful 30-year business partnership with Thomas Edison, and Barnes ended up a very wealthy man.
Hill uses this specific story to prove a really profound point. You see, Barnes didn't outwork or outconnect anyone in that laboratory. He didn't have special technical skills. He just wielded a burning desire that flat out refused to accept a no. He simply refused to entertain any outcome except the one he wanted.
The 6-step desire method. All right, let's dive into how we actually apply this in our own lives, because Hill didn't just leave us with inspiring stories. He distilled those 500 interviews into a super practical framework. The exact blueprint is simple, but it's rigorous. Step 1, fix your exact amount or outcome. Step 2, decide exactly what to give in return. Step 3, set a definite date. Step 4, create your plan and start immediately, whether you feel ready or not. Step 5, write it all down clearly. And Step 6, read it aloud twice a day. once when you wake up and once before you go to sleep, picturing yourself already in possession of the outcome.
Looking a bit closer at step 1, Hill emphasizes that precision is absolutely mandatory if you want real outcomes. Vague goals produce vague results. You can't just say you want more money or success, right? You have to fix in your mind the exact amount or the specific outcome you're targeting.
And that brings us to the harsh reality of step 2, which honestly trips a lot of people up. Hill insists that there is no such thing as something for nothing. You have to decide right now exactly what you intend to give in return for that goal. What time, what energy, or what comfort are you willing to sacrifice? Hill is totally insistent that this entire framework isn't just some magical positive vibes or wishful thinking. Desire is simply the ignition switch. It's the spark that makes a person willing to actually do the unglamorous, repetitive, exhausting work that separates a solid plan from a fleeting daydream. All the other principles like faith, planning, and persistence, they all rely on this one switch being flipped.
Which leaves us with a really critical question to ponder before the next part of our explainer. If desire is the ignition switch, what exactly fuels it when the unglamorous work gets hard and the results just aren't coming fast enough? Next time, we'll explore Hill's answer to this, faith, and the fascinating practice of subconscious reprogramming he called autosuggestion. But until then, ask yourself, is your goal just a passive wish, or is it a burning desire where failure is no longer an option?